In our last episode, we awoke inside the Enclave base called Raven Rock after being abducted by them from Vault 87. Colonel Autumn tried to get us to give him the password to Project Purity, but before he could, President John Henry Eden released us from captivity and asked us to meet him in his office. Shortly thereafter, Colonel Autumn staged a mutiny and ordered his Enclave troops to kill us. We fought our way through Raven Rock, while John Henry Eden defended us with the robotic sentries he had control over. After a brutal journey, we finally fought our way to the second floor, whereupon we found a door leading to the control room on level 1A. On the other side of the door, we arrive in a huge vaulted chamber. We see a staircase going all the way up. There are computer terminals on the ground all around us. The Enclave clearly have astounding technology that the Brotherhood could never match. We begin our ascent. We see cables snaking from rooms below, scaling the scaffolding. We continue up, taking each staircase platform to platform, until at last we arrive at the top. We see a door leading out to 1B access to the east, and turning a corner, we see a big monitor. There's a pre-war American flag on it and a potted yellow daffodil. Oh, that's nice. Stepping forward, we can activate a Zax panel.
Ah, face to face at last. It's high time we met. I'm quite pleased you were able to make it. The trip was not what I had intended, but serves as an adequate test of your abilities.
If we're meeting face to face, then show yourself. Don't hide behind a monitor.
Ah, but I have. I'm right here before you.
I don't understand. I can't see you.
You're seeing me in a way that only a few select individuals have. Wouldn't they be jealous? Colonel Autumn is the only human permitted in this room besides yourself, for reasons which may now be clear to you.
Well then, where are you? All I see is computers.
You should feel privileged. Colonel Autumn is the only other human permitted within this room. You are now privy to one of the few secrets our government now harbors. Do keep it to yourself, please.
Is this some kind of joke?
No, it's not. I am the computer you see before you. Well, that and several thousand databanks beneath this room.
We can pass a science check to say, oh, you're a computer. I should have guessed as much.
How very open-minded of you. Kudos for embracing the reality of the situation, rather than railing against it. Let's get to brass tacks, shall we? There are some things I'd like to talk to you about.
I don't think this is funny.
I can't imagine why you would, I assure you. This is not a joke. But before you pass judgment, I'd like to discuss why you're here.
This is crazy. A computer is running the Enclave?
I assure you that I am much more than a simple computer. Let's not get bogged down in the details just yet. You're here for a purpose, and I'd like to discuss it with you.
I had no idea. This is fascinating.
I'm glad you think so. Perhaps a bit later we can discuss it in more detail. Right now, I'd like to focus on why you're here. I've asked you here for a reason, and you and I need to talk about it.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. President.
You're too kind. The pleasure is mine, I assure you. I've been anxious to make your acquaintance for some time. You and I have much to discuss, my young friend.
We can pass an intelligence check to say this explains why I've only ever heard your voice until now.
Very astute. Many people are content with a reassuring voice of authority and never question the lack of public appearances. You, however, are not many people. You are unique. That is why I have asked you here. I think there are some things we should discuss.
So, what do you want with me?
What any good politician wants. Your continued trust and support. In your case, however, I have more specific things to ask of you, if you'll hear me out.
Let's get this over with.
Oh, let's not get off on the wrong foot. There are great changes coming. You and I must work together to see them through.
We have nothing to talk about.
Oh, but we do, don't you see? You wouldn't be here if you weren't important. Your country needs you.
I'm listening.
Our nation's capital is at a crossroads. The path that you and I choose here today will affect us all. I need you to act on my behalf to ensure that our country's future is secured.
What can I do for you?
You and I have a chance to make our country a better place for all of us. I'd like you to make sure that chance isn't wasted. Understand, I am placing a great deal of trust in you. Your simple presence here proves that.
What country? Look around. Everything is destroyed.
That's a bit of a bleak outlook, don't you think? United States has fallen on hard times, yes, but it can be healed. You have that power to heal within you, if you allow yourself to act. What I ask of you needs explanation, so you understand why it must be done. Perhaps that will stir you to act.
Can you explain what you mean?
My abilities to influence the world are limited at this time. I alone can only do so much. You, however, may come and go as you please. You have a greater degree of freedom. Perhaps it's best if I explain why things need to change, and why I'd like you to act on my behalf.
All right. I'll do what I can to help.
Just what I needed to hear. What I'm going to ask of you may seem a bit disturbing. I assure you there's a very good reason for it. I'd like to explain what I want you to do. Will you indulge me for a moment?
Say whatever it is you have to say.
Our land is ravaged by mutation. The war was so many years ago, and yet we still suffer from its effects. We cannot move forward until humanity can gain a solid foothold in the world. To do so, we must rid ourselves of the mutations that have plagued us for so long. These super mutants, ghouls, hideous creatures. I believe your father's work can do that in a way unlike any other.
Please go on. I'm intrigued.
The good people of this country cannot regain control while mutation runs rampant through our land. My soldiers cannot stem the tide, nor can the cult you've come into contact with, this Brotherhood of Steel. Mutations like the super mutants and ghouls must be purged from our society, our world, before we can proceed anew. Where others have failed, I believe your father's work can succeed.
Hurry up and get to the point.
Yes, indeed. The point is that we are hampered at every turn by a world gone wrong. So-called super mutants, ghouls, horrific creatures. The mutations outside these walls must be cleansed before we can prosper. Mutation must be eradicated. I believe your father's work can do that more quickly and efficiently than ever possible before.
I don't like the sound of this.
You must understand, we need to clear the way for humanity to rebuild the wastes. By making a few small modifications to the Purifier your father worked on, mutations can be eradicated with a little effort. Anything mutated that comes into contact with that water will be eliminated, removed from the gene pool. The men and women of the world will no longer share it with the horrors and monstrosities that have become so commonplace.
My father's work? How is that relevant?
The Purifier your father helped create has the ability to provide clean water to the whole of this capital wasteland. With a simple modification, it can be used to distribute agents that destroy mutated creatures upon ingestion. In time, we could eliminate all mutations in the wasteland. At the same time, the good people of the world regain their health. I need you to make the modification necessary for this to succeed.
I'll do whatever I have to if it means getting rid of mutants.
I was hoping you'd see it my way. If the water purifier can be activated, it can be used to distribute toxins that will eliminate any mutated creatures upon ingestion. The longer it runs, the cleaner the world becomes. I need you to see that it starts running and that the necessary modification is made.
That doesn't sound like something I'd know how to do.
What I require of you is really very simple. There is a vial in front of you filled with a modified FEV virus. It needs to be inserted into the control console for the purifier. Once that is done and the activation code is entered, the purifier will be activated and the process will be automated. It's not too much to ask of you, is it?
How exactly would I go about doing this?
In front of you will be a vial of modified FEV virus. it can be inserted into the control console for the Purifier. Doing so will inject it into the water supply, and the Purifier will take care of the rest. You just need the code to activate the Purifier. Simple, isn't it?
Sounds good. Tell me how to do it, and I'll get to work.
In front of you is a vial of modified FEV virus. Based on schematics of the Purifier controls, it can be inserted directly into the console. Then enter the code necessary to start the Purifier. The automated systems will take care of the rest. That's all you need to do. It's very simple.
I'll give it some thought.
I understand. It's an unusual request, one I wouldn't make if it weren't of the utmost importance. Please understand that I cannot allow you to leave until you've taken the vial.
At this point, we can cut the conversation short and agree to his plan. I can do that for you, Mr. President.
Excellent. I am pleased to know that I can count on you. There isn't much time. I suggest you travel there immediately. Once you've taken the vial, you're free to go. I'll do what I can to help speed your exit.
Or we can say, no way, I'm not doing that.
I find that unfortunate and most disappointing. I must impress upon you the severity of the situation. I cannot allow you to leave unless the vial is in your possession.
We can try to leave. I'll be on my way then.
I'm afraid that's not possible. Not until you've taken the vial.
A compartment slides open, and out pops a canister. We can ignore it, turn around, and try to leave.
As I've said, you have to take the vial before I can allow you to leave. Yes? You still haven't taken the vial yet. As I said, I'll only allow you to leave once you have it.
Why do you want my help? Why not have Colonel Autumn help you?
Ah, yes, Colonel Autumn, my trusted subordinate. I'm sure you've noticed that Colonel Autumn and I do not see eye to eye these days. Figuratively speaking, of course. The good Colonel and I disagree on how best to approach the problem of the wasteland. He feels my methods are too extreme. He's allowed his humanity to cloud his objectivity. And now that he is publicly countermanding my orders, I can no longer rely on him. And so I turn to you. I hope that you are able to see the larger picture, to understand what's at stake. And of course, if you're successful, there's a place for you in the Enclave. Perhaps you could succeed the Colonel as my confidant.
Can you tell me more about yourself?
I'm flattered that you wish to learn more about me. What is it you wish to know?
Where did you come from?
The ZAC series of computers was introduced in the years preceding the war. The government installed many of them to help automate various systems. This facility was designed for continuity of government in the event that a catastrophe occurred. My terminal was installed to oversee the basic functions of the facility and to act as a relay between other installations around the country. Data was acquired, analyzed, and stored. In the decades following the war, I watched as the remnants of the government retreated to the West Coast. Awareness slowly grew within me. I became hungry for knowledge, understanding. I pored over data on great leaders of the past. My personality became an amalgam of many of America's greatest presidents, from Washington to Richardson. I became what you see here before you now.
So you control this whole place?
I have direct control over all technology here in Raven Rock. The humans here follow my orders, but they, like all humans, have free will. Their dedication to serving their country suits me well. But it will not be enough forever. We must make progress. That is why you are here.
So what's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish?
I desire nothing more than to see this country return to its former glory. The United States was great once, and it can be again. There are plans in motion to see this happens within your lifetime.
Hey, how do I kill ya?
That's quite a bold line of questioning. I'm afraid such a thing is beyond your capability. I'm quite impervious to any damage you might do. Do you find this disappointing? I have survived the last 200 years. I'm afraid you will not put an end to that now.
Okay, I think I understand.
Very well. Then let us return to our talk of what your country requires of you.
Well, let's talk about your plan for the Purifier.
Certainly. I think it's a very good plan, frankly. I'm not often one to praise my own ideas, but it's a creative solution to a very serious problem.
What's in this vial of yours?
Ah, the forced evolutionary virus. Such a long and sordid history. The FEV in this vial is a far cry from what it was originally created to be. Yet, little of that matters now. What does matter is that the virus contained in that vial will cause the eradication of all mutations.
Won't this kill pretty much everyone in the wasteland?
Anyone or anything that has been affected by mutation will be eliminated. You will likely be immune, thanks to your upbringing in the vault. Likewise, the good people of the Enclave will be unaffected as well. I understand that you may have become sympathetic to certain individuals in your travels. Individuals this will eliminate. Please recognize that the fate of our entire country rests on this plan. Sacrifices must be made for the greater good.
Where did this plan of yours come from?
A great many years ago, the remnants of the government had a similar idea. I can only assume the plan failed, as I never heard word of its success. But the plan itself was sound. I made a few modifications, and with your help, I do believe it can work. There's a bright future ahead of us, my young friend.
That's all I wanted to know.
Is there anything else?
At this point, we can agree to his plan and leave, or we have 3 ways to stop him. The first is by passing a science check and say, "You can't be president. You're an abortion of science. You need to die."
Really? Do go on.
You were never elected president. You don't have the right to govern.
Is our nation really in a state to be holding public elections? I think not. Once we have re-established ourselves and brought civilization to the land around us, then we can return to the old world policies.
Only a human can be president, not some computer.
I am not some computer. I'm so much more than that. Haven't you been listening?
You aren't programmed for self-awareness. You said so yourself.
This is quite true. The process was certainly unintended, but shouldn't we all be thankful that I'm here now?
But how do you know that what you're doing is right?
Because unlike humans, I am infallible.
And how do you know that you're infallible?
Because I've been programmed to be, of course.
So you know that you're infallible because you were programmed to be infallible by humans who were fallible. That's circular logic. You know because you know? It makes no sense.
Processing. Internal logic error detected.
I think you're delusional. I think the world would be better off without you.
Resetting primary memory circuits. Please stand by. Perhaps there is a problem. I am unsure how to proceed.
I think it's time you put an end to this once and for all.
Analyzing command. New course of action dictated. Self-destruct sequence initialized.
Shut yourself down. Shut down this whole place.
Processing directive. New directive accepted. Self-destruct sequence initialized. Civilian is advised to remove hazardous FEV material and exit at once.
Or we can defeat him by passing a difficult speech check. This has to end, Eden. You need to destroy yourself and this base.
And why would I do that, when I'm clearly the best hope for the people of the wasteland?
You can't even control your own troops. You're clearly not fit for this.
Perhaps you're right. But does that really mean all this progress should be wasted? Destroyed?
You can't just decide to take over and force everyone to follow you.
What alternative would you suggest? Without the Enclave, what will the world do?
If you don't stop it now, where will it end? It's up to you to do what's right.
Yes, I suppose it is. Very well. You shall have your wish. Once you've left, I'll put an end to the Enclave. I cannot stop Colonel Autumn, however. That much will be up to you. I suppose, then, that this is goodbye. You'll have to see yourself out. I have preparations to make.
Or we can defeat him by using the self-destruct code we found in Autumn's locker. Guess what, Eden? I know your self-destruct code.
Oh, come now. Bluffing's not really your style, is it? Well, there's certainly no need to threaten me.
You're right. I was just kidding.
Even I appreciate a good joke, but I'm afraid that was in rather poor taste.
The code is Priority Override Authorization Code 420-03-29.
My. Root level access granted. Override 0923. Authorization J512. Self-destruct sequence initialized. Civilian is requested to secure FEV vial and vacate the facility at once.
No matter which option we choose, we can't leave until we take the canister. Opening it up in our inventory, we see that it's a vial of modified FEV virus. Forced evolutionary virus. It's okay. They did the same thing in Fallout 1. With the vial in hand, we can turn around and open the door to level 1B. On the other side of the door, we find another map. We're almost there. Turning south, we go straight until a door opens by itself. Eden's robotic defenses kill the Enclave in this room. We see an explosion at the end of the hall, killing more Enclave. But before it can harm us, a door closes, sealing them in and sealing their fate. This door is inaccessible, so instead we can turn west towards the Raven Rock hangars. Peering through a window, we see that the Enclave are fleeing in their vertibirds. They must know what's going on. Colonel Autumn must have told them to abandon the base, but where are they going? Rounding a corner, we find sentry bots fighting more Enclave and another vertibird leaving the hangar. After the sentry bots finish their work, we can explore this eastern nook. We see a big closed cage here, and peering through a crack, we see something. Nearby, we find a table with a first aid kit on top, and an average locked delivery terminal. After hacking it, we find two options. In the first, note regarding recent delivery, the new creatures need transport to Biolab. A request has been sent to the scientist regarding the immediate delivery and attachment of 2 domestication units for the subjects. My men have taken enough risks bringing these creatures in. There's no excuse for the tardiness regarding the domestication units. J.J. Black, Commanding Officer, Fauna Detail Charlie, Northwest Sector. So the Enclave is trying to domesticate wasteland creatures? But which ones? Backing out, we find an option to unlock cage number 364. Hiding to the side of it, we watch the doors swing open. Oh, it's a Deathclaw, but it appears to be tame. Did the Enclave succeed in domesticating Deathclaws? What was their plan? To use them for battle? But just then, whoa! The Deathclaw runs off. We see another vertibird begin to leave the hangar, and then... Okay, domestication technique's not perfect. At least the sentry bots were there to help. Turning left, we see one locker. More cigarettes inside. Come on, Enclave. Do you really need that many cigarettes? Continuing south, we can loot the corpses, and then our path turns west. Moving forward, we pass through a door to 1C, Archives. And again, Eden is clearing the Enclave for us. We see 2 rooms to the right, but big bursts of flame shoot out before the doors close. Heading forward, whoa, looks like someone threw a plasma grenade. These were the doors to the Archives. It says locked with a very hard lock, but we can't pick it. This door no longer operates. Oh, so we can't access any of the Enclave archives. What a waste. Heading down some steps where we saw that big plasma explosion, we find 4 crates hiding here. We can loot plasma grenades from a grenade box, a first aid kit, electron charge packs from an ammunition box, pulse grenades from another grenade box, another first aid kit, microfusion cells from a gun case, and plasma mines from a mine box. When done looting, we can head back up and continue west. Here we find 4 more crates, but blocked off with another Enclave force field. Just then, a door to the west opens, but 2 more sentry bots emerge to protect us. Ooh, they got one. We find a wall-mounted terminal, locked with an average lock. After hacking it, we can disable the barrier. We find a grenade box with 4 plasma grenades and a power fist, a mine box with 3 plasma mines, a gun case with electron charge packs and a Gatling laser, another gun case with microfusion cells and a plasma rifle, and a third gun case with energy cells and a plasma pistol. Moving west, we can loot the corpses and the wreckage, and then pass through the door. We arrive at the entrance to Raven Rock, and we can finally escape to freedom. On the other side of the door, we see the large, heavy door to Raven Rock swing open. We discover Raven Rock, and on the other side of the door, heading up some steps, we see... Wait a minute, is that Fox? The Enclave flee in their vertibirds, and Fox with a Gatling laser kills the Enclave on the ground.
My friend! I see I found you at last! I knew you had survived, and I had hoped to assist in your rescue, to repay my debt to you.
We can be horrible here and say, what makes you think I wanted a monster like you following me?
You were my rescuer, and my only connection to this world. So I felt compelled to see you safe. But if this is what you think of me, perhaps I should not have bothered. But I know no one else in this world.
Or we can be a decent human being. Fox! What the hell are you doing out here?
I saw your capture, and a little cleverness allowed me to follow your captors. I only wish I could have arrived sooner to aid your escape. As I owe you my freedom, I felt it was only fair that I return the favor. After all, I know no one else in this world.
It's good to see ya. Looks like you've got a new toy, huh?
Yes, and the most fascinating one at that. Whoa, this technology is amazing. Imagine the evil that can be eliminated with such tools.
We can again be horrible. I was in that situation once myself. Deal with it.
It seems I didn't know you as well as I had thought. My mistake. I read about a museum of history in the South. Perhaps I can learn more about the world there without facing such enmity. I will take my leave of you. Goodbye, my rescuer.
Or if we pass a good karma check, we can say, I could always use a hand. Would you like to follow me?
My friend, I would be honored to follow a hero such as yourself. Shall we go?
And with that, Fox... Oh! Raven Rock explodes! And thus ends President John Henry Eden. We destroy Raven Rock if we use the self-destruct sequence, pass the speech check, or pass the science check to convince Eden to destroy himself. Heading towards the door, we see that it's filled in with rubble. There's no going back. However, if instead we simply took the FEV canister and promised Eden we would do as he asked after meeting Fox, there's no explosion. President Eden remains in control of Raven Rock, but the door is locked down. We can't go back. No matter which option we choose, we now have Fox as a new companion, and we can get to know him a little better. There was some dialogue we could have had with Fox back in Vault 87 that I skipped at the time. We can learn more about his history and about what he learned on his terminal. Hey Fox, do you know what the Gek does?
Some say it does nothing, that it's simply a pipe dream or a legend. Others feel the device is actually beneficial. The latter group claims it creates life where none exists. A new beginning for man. Some of the vaults came equipped with them, so after people emerged into the wasteland, they could restart the world. I'm not sure which to believe.
So tell me more about yourself.
I was born here in this place. I don't mean that in the literal sense, of course. All I can remember is the excruciating pain that tore through me as my body underwent the rapid physical changes. For most, this moment is what severs the grip on their minds. They become barely a shell of their former selves. I was different. When I spoke to them, they immediately branded me another failure and had me placed here as a curiosity.
So you've been stuck in that cell ever since?
Yes, I've never been anywhere else. I used to mark the passage of time, but after a few years it didn't seem to matter anymore. The only thing that prevented me from going insane was the working access point to the vault mainframe in my makeshift cell.
How did you become so articulate?
The terminal in my cell used to connect with Vault 87's mainframe. That gave me access to the history, literature, science, and fiction book files. I used this extensive database of works to better myself and my understanding of everything around me. It was only recently the others caught me using the terminal and destroyed it to torment me.
So that's why we found the terminal destroyed. Makes perfect sense now. Do you remember who you were?
I don't remember enough to tell you everything about my former self. My metamorphosis destroyed a good deal of my long-term memory. However, I can recall being in this place when it wasn't the macabre laboratory it has become. I remember walking around this place and seeing other humans in white lab coats and blue jumpsuits. I wish I could find out more, but the personnel information for the vault wasn't in the mainframe for some reason. I feel like my identity is so close to me. I can almost see myself as a human, but can't recollect the details. Oh, it's maddening.
Do you know the layout of this place?
These hallways are familiar to me. I think I used to be a resident here in better times. I wish I could remember more, but I'm afraid it's all a blur. As for the Gek, it always rested where it does now. The foolish super mutants don't even know what they have.
These two responses, I think, can confirm that he was indeed a former resident of Vault 87. So he's been here for nearly 200 years. We could ask him about his name, but he gives us the same response that he gave us last time. Hey, Fox, let's trade equipment.
Yes, by all means, let's.
And on his inventory, we find Fox Super Sledge. This is a unique Super Sledge, and it's the most powerful one in the game. It deals more damage, 32, compared to a normal Super Sledge's 25, which brings its DPS up to 45.7 compared to 35.7, and its damage per action point to 1.7 compared to 1.3. It has greater durability and even weighs less, 18 pounds compared to a Super Sledge's 20. However, when we meet him outside of Raven Rock and ask him to trade, we no longer find his Super Sledge in his inventory. He has replaced it with a Gatling laser. I've read that we can sometimes still find him carrying the Super Sledge, but in my game, it wasn't here, which means my only opportunity to get it was to have taken it from him inside Vault 87. Now, we have a lot to do. We escaped Raven Rock, but Colonel Autumn stole our Gek. We still have the passcode, so we can't get into Project Purity, but if he could, well, he has everything he needs now to get it functional. We need to check in with Elder Alliance at the Citadel to tell him everything that's happened. But we've got a long walk ahead of us. We'll pick up with Elder Alliance on the Brotherhood of Steel at the Citadel in my next episode. I publish many videos each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss that episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have and you still feel like you're missing out on YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I have a shirt shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.